Aubameyang! Oh, brilliant! He took it first time and with devastating effect. Put through by Steve Bold. Would you believe it?
I don't want to waste what's left. The storms we
Life in the
chase.
game, according to the referee, and Bergkamp certainly life in him.
No, I don't want to waste what's left. And on we'll go.
Henri. What a goal!
Dance through the highways till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
He's in again. Pushed out by Bartes. Wiltor!
What's going on, guys? How are we all doing this evening? I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Apologies, I've been a bit absent for a couple of days. I've just been taking a couple of days off. Yeah, obviously we had the England game and all that drama. Listen, we're going to be talking about all that, and we're going to be talking about all the transfer gossip that's surrounding Arsenal. Joining me, he's back on the channel. Sam, how you doing, Sam?
Back again. Yeah, it's good to be back, Daniel. I haven't been here for a while. I've been taking it a bit easy after the season, and just relaxing a bit. Doing some other stuff. I've been busy with work. I've been on a few shows here and there, but yeah, nowhere near the amount I've normally been doing. And yeah, just relaxing a bit more, catching the Euros, enjoying the Euros, and. Just kicking it back a bit, and now I think as we get closer to the season, I'll probably get more back into it again, for the season. But thanks for having me, Daniel. It's nice to see you as always, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, do you know what it is, Samra? I can't, and I've said this during watch-alongs that I've done for the Euros, and that I said last season was such a crap season.
It was draining, wasn't it? It was draining,
It was draining. And honestly, like, even the transfer news, I'm going to be honest, and people know on this channel, I've not done any Arsenal videos on my channel since the end of the season. And that is simply because A, I've been focusing on the Euros, and B, I ain't going to lie, I'm so tuned out at the moment because it's just been a draining season, and I'm finding it hard to tune into Arsenal because it's stressful right now. It really is stressful, and it's been a breath of fresh air watching the Euros, and it's been a breath of fresh air watching different teams, and also like following England. It's been really I'm actually excited as to where this England team can go, and I was thinking about it the other day, and when we're watching England, and I know a lot of people, and we're going to come on to this, a lot of people have kind of made comparisons to Gareth Southgate and Arteta and all that. But when I watch England, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a payoff. When I watch Arsenal, I kind of feel like we just get mugged off all the time. We don't get any kind of payoff for supporting Arsenal. But I find watching England, and especially sort of with that game on Tuesday against Germany, I kind of like we're getting a payoff. Do you know what I mean? Like, as fans, as supporters.
Yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from, Daniel. You make a really good point there, and it's so true. I mean, watching Arsenal, it's painful, isn't it? It's traumatic. It's it's like watching paint dry sometimes. It's just like a bunch of people trying to get through a brick wall and they just can't get through it, and terrible football, and oh my God, yeah, we've had it picked up a little bit towards the end of the season, but most of that season for Arsenal was just terrible, wasn't it? So yeah, it's been traumatic, and no wonder you've taken time off Arsenal as I have, because that, like you said, and we said backstage before we went on live, this season's just been so mentally draining, and it's so good to just take a step back and get a new perspective on football and actually get into enjoying football a bit more, because that's what this Euros has done. It sort of made us realize, well, you realize and me realize, there are actually some good, fantastic players there that we're not really aware of and that we don't really see normally in our everyday when we're mainly following the Premier League. And it's great to see them. And there's been a lot of good play and a lot of good teams. And it's just really fun to watch the Euros. It's really picked up now in the knockout stages. A lot of really good games and a lot of goals and a lot of excitement, a lot of, a drama. And it's just been really fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been really good.
It has. Big up everybody in the chat. Big up to James as well. I haven't seen you. I know you said there that you had problems with your computer, but nice to see you back. I know you've been absent for a couple of weeks, and I was getting worried. I was saying to the guys in the chat, I was saying I haven't seen James for a while, so it's nice to see you back in the chat. And big up all the regulars as well: Grant, Joanne, Lionel, Omar, Static. Yeah, big up to you guys as well. But yeah, Sam, do you know what I mean? I exactly get it, because the Euros have been a breath of fresh air. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want to ask you, Sam, what's your thoughts on Gareth Southgate? Because I know, like, a lot of people, and I find myself with Gareth Southgate. I've gone from being critical of him to I'm starting to basically change my first opinion on him. And I'll give my reasons why, but I just want to hear what your opinion is on Gareth Southgate. And
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, he's a bit of an enigma. It's very hard to gauge exactly where I have him. I must admit that, after the World Cup going out, even though it was good to get to the semi-final, even though you could argue our road to the semi-final in 2018 wasn't the hardest, but we still had to beat a couple of decent teams, and losing against Croatia was a bit of a kick in the teeth. But and he's done so many strange things with lineups and putting players in weird positions, and that's why he's been, and I would say rightfully so, compared to Arteta, because that's what Arteta's been doing. Weird lineups and players in weird positions, using Xhaka at left back and Smith Rowe as a false nine, and crazy stuff like that. And Southgate's done sort of similar, not exactly that type of thing, but similar. Putting players into weird positions, and it hasn't really worked out. There've been some very drab performances, in friendlies, and it hasn't always looked great. And Southgate, he's criticised for his tactical approach to the game. And but again, what's happened throughout these Euros, I must admit, same as you, Daniel, that for each game that England has played, I think they've looked better. They've looked more solid as a team, as a unit. And we've in my opinion, we've got better and better with each game. And beating Germany 2-0, admittedly, Germany, that's not the same German team that we saw a few years ago. They're in transition at the moment. They're bringing in newer players, and some of their older players are not exactly as good as they used to be. So yeah, that German team wasn't the best. But at the end of the day, it's still Germany. They are one of the best international teams in the world. They always get to a semi-final or a final in just about every tournament they play. They're a machine. They know how to play knockout football, and they're always a team that they're always there or thereabouts. You can never count them out. If they're a goal down with 10 seconds to go, they can score a goal. That's what they're like. So actually beating them 2-0 like we did, I thought was impressive. I must say it was impressive. I must say that before kickoff, when we saw the lineup and the way it was lining up, I was a bit underwhelmed to see Phillips and Rice in central midfield. I thought that was giving us a bit too much of a defensive outlook. We like to line a bit deep, even though with the fullback Shaw and Walker, providing, of course, that wing attack and overlapping up front, which does, of course, add that dimension in attack. It ended up working well. I thought the balance between Rice and Phillips worked really well, and it gave us that defensive dimension in the middle to actually counter the likes of Kroos and Havertz and Goretzka, and it works really well. And so I must say, Southgate's he's gone from, let's say, before this tournament, I'd rate him at like about maybe a 4 or a 5 in terms of how I see him as a manager. And now I must say, with the performances that we've been seeing now, I'd say I'll probably have him up to like about 7. He's definitely improved for me.
Yeah. Big up to Barga. Thanks for your super chat, mate. He says, big up Sam and the Blind Gooner. Hope you're having a good summer and in good health.
Yeah, big up everyone in the chat. Nice to see you guys. Bargav, Steve, the Arsenal Misfit. Matt Roberts is here. Jonathan Ryan, Static, Cheddars. Cheddars is always about. Lovely to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, got a great chat here, as usual.
Yeah, and do you know the thing is with me, with Southgate, and I, when he first came in, I was a kind of a little bit unsure of Southgate. He made that big call, remember, very early on, and I actually, ITV done a documentary on it as well, and I watched it the other day. And I completely forgot about his early days as England manager, because I remember he came in and, obviously he was caretaker at one point, because obviously Sam Allardyce came in and massively fucked up with all his financial issues and stuff.
How long was he England manager? About 10 minutes, 12 minutes?
He was, Sam, I'll tell you, right? He was in for one game. And he won one game. And do you know what? He's the only manager to have a 100% winning record with England.
He's fantastic. He's the best England manager ever, isn't he?
Yeah,
100% win record, as you just said. Yes.
But when Gareth Southgate come in, he made that big call, didn't he, to drop Wayne Rooney from the squad. And everybody at the time,
that was a big call.
Everybody at the time, like myself, was like, "What is he doing?" And it didn't click for a while, but that World Cup, and I ain't gonna lie, the 2018 World Cup wasn't the greatest. We didn't play the best, but several things happened for me which started me thinking that actually we're on course. And I genuinely feel this, and I'm not just saying it because I'm an England fan, but I genuinely think that we're on the cusp of achieving something big with England. And I said it when we got knocked out to Croatia in the semi-final. I said, listen, it's not the end of it. It's not a fluke. And everybody was kind of like, what? It is. It's just, everybody was kind of ripping me for it. And I said, listen, it's not, it's just the beginning. But in that World Cup, to win a penalty shootout, which we've never ever done, which is when it goes to penalties, we're like, oh fucking here we go again. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, we've got trauma there, haven't we?
Yeah. So to do that, so to do that, and then to go as far as we did in that tournament, and I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, we the draw was kind to us." And listen, I don't care for all that bollocks, because at the end of the day, you can only play who you're drawn against in tournament football. But it didn't work out. But then this tournament, what I've seen, I've liked. We've not conceded a goal in this tournament yet. I think we're the only team now not to concede a goal in this tournament, because obviously Italy conceded one in their last knockout game against Austria. So we're the only team now in the tournament that haven't conceded a goal yet. And I expect that to change. We probably will. But to beat Germany as well, and okay, yes, a lot of people will go, we've not our attacking formations, as from an attacking team with all the attacking players we've got, there are some people that say, we're a bit negative, but you know what? And I actually watched the England-Germany game back on playback after I watched it live. And actually, when you take the emotion out of it, it was a very good performance. It was a very well organized performance. And actually, I'd rather see us win like that than score 4 goals and end up going out on penalties and have all that drama. It was actually probably, when you watch it back on playback, it's actually one of the calmest knockout games England have ever participated in, because we've actually gone about and we've actually gone and won. And do you know what, right? And this is where I will make comparisons to the Premier League. People always bang on about to win the Premier League, you've got to win the ugly games. And I almost think that in tournament football, it's the same thing. And I said this right from day one when we drew 0-0 to Croatia, and everybody, listen, it was a horrendous performance. Don't get me wrong, and I think we could have done better in that game. But I kept saying to everybody, I said, listen, you don't want to peak too early in tournament football. You want to peak at the right time. And now, I'd say now and the fight between now and the final, the possibility of getting to the final is now's the time you really want to peak as a team.
Yes.
You don't want to peak it. Listen, the group games, you can probably afford to mess up in one of those group games and still get through. But knockout football, when it gets to the knockout stages, that's when you really want to peak as a team.
Yep.
And every other team, you look at every other team, even Belgium to an extent, they've had shaky moments. They don't look as calm and collected as England do. I just feel like with this England team, and the one thing I liked as well after the game, they interviewed Gareth Southgate and said, "Oh, what does it mean for you beating Germany?" And he said the right thing, actually, that actually I was thinking after that game. And he said, "Oh, it's a great win, but it means nothing if we don't go and win on Saturday." And I was like, it's true. It's absolutely true. If we don't win on Saturday, I mean,
means nothing,
take out the fact that we're playing Ukraine, and if we lose to them, like,
they're not as
going
bad.
wrong.
You know what? We should beat them on paper, but they're not as bad as people think. They're a unit, and they work hard, and they do have a few decent players, and they upset Sweden. I mean, Sweden were the better team on paper, but they did the job against Sweden. So, like you said, Daniel, you can never underestimate anyone, really. Not at this level, at this stage.
Big up Chadwick as well, Steve.
Yeah,
Steve,
Chadwick, nice to see you, mate. Chadwick, haven't seen him for ages.
Steve, the Arsenal misfit, said the quality of football in this tournament has been poor. I think everyone's just exhausted from the amount of games they've played. Do you know the thing is, though, right? Yeah, and this is, the group stages. I kind of see the group games as have been a little bit poor. But you can't really say that about the knockout games. The quality of football in them, and here's the thing though as well. And I will say this: when you look around the teams, apart from Belgium, Portugal, France, Germany, who are now all out. Apart from Belgium, every one of them's out the tournament. Apart from Belgium. When you look at, and you look at us in Italy, I think we're levels above everybody else. But when you look at the other team, and Holland are out as well, aren't they? They kind of didn't get. But none of them teams had real quality in the first place. Do you know what I mean? When you look at those teams, you go back to teams gone by, even Spain, right? Spain, I look at Spain, and they're a decent side, but they're not the force that they once were.
No, you're
but
right.
Again, that's not England's fault, is it? Do you know what I mean? The other teams have lacked quality. That's not England's fault. No. And I feel like people are using the fact that we're successful by the lack of quality of other teams. Listen, you can only beat what's in front of you. And for people saying about the Germany side being pretty poor, listen, that Germany side had some decent players in it. People bang on about Kai Havertz. people bang on about Timo Werner. And do you know, right, there was a moment in that game, and you probably know which one I'm going to talk about, Sam. There was a moment in that game where I said, and as he was running through on goal, Thomas Muller, I said to myself as he was running through on goal, I said, if he scores this, we're out. If he misses it, it's definitely our day. Because it was one of them moments. And I remember the 2010 World Cup when he bagged 2 goals against us, you know, and really clinical. But he missed it. And I thought, oh, here we go again. 1-1, going extra time, going to penalties, the bang, the whole thing. And then obviously after that, Grealish set up Harry Kane, and we managed to make it a comfortable win. But without getting carried away, I do genuinely believe that we are onto something with England. I do genuinely believe we are going to achieve something if not in this Euros, but in the near future. But do you know what, Sam? I look at this Euros, and I think we've got a perfect opportunity. You know, if we win this game, all of our games bar one have been at Wembley.
Yeah, that's true.
So even if we win the tournament, all of our games at one, because the semi-final and the finals at Wembley, it's kind of, you know, when things are meant to be. I kind of feel like it's meant to be, and I do genuinely believe the final, and I'm calling it now. We're getting Italy in the final, England-Italy final. I can tell you that now. I'm going to call it. England and Italy are going to be in the final at Wembley.
They are the two strongest teams.
I think Belgium. I don't know. I've just got this feeling that Belgium are going to maybe get knocked out. I don't know.
I think Belgium, for me, they don't have a good enough midfield. De Bruyne is out now; he's injured, most likely. And for me, that midfield just isn't good enough. They've got, of course, they've got Lukaku up front. They've got a decent defense. But that midfield is a bit suspect, that's where they're lacking, in my opinion. So, Belgium, even though, of course, they're still good players, talented players, they're not quite at the level England are and Italy are. I agree with you there. And you're so right. Everything you were saying, we're really dead on, Daniel. You really made some really good points. And I agree with you. It's we're looking good at the moment. We're looking like we're peaking at the right time. We're looking better now in the knockout stages than we did in the group stages. So we're showing improvement at the right time. For some more form at the right time, and that is absolutely vital if we're going to get anywhere. At the same time, we have to be wary of underdogs like Ukraine, because they're going to go hell for leather. They're going to give 110%, and they're not going to let us just beat them. So we have to show up and put in a good performance. We can't just show up and say, "Oh, we're going to win this game," because that's something, that type of mentality is going to lose us the game. So we really need to actually, do our job and give everything against Ukraine. And if we do that, I do think we will go through it. But I do think it's going to be a closer game than people think, and I think the Ukraine are going to give us a good game, because they certainly did against Sweden, and no one expected that, and they did. So I don't think it's as clear cut as you think, but I do agree with you. I think at the moment England are looking good. We're improving. We've got quite a good balance in our team. I do think we're better with Grealish and Saka on the team playing. We look a lot better in attack with them playing. When Grealish came on against Germany, we started attacking better and creating more chances. I think Grealish has to play. I would love to see Saka play again, because Saka, you know what? I've been so impressed by Saka playing for England, because he's just been fearless. He doesn't look nervous at all. He looks like he's just playing for Arsenal or playing with his mates. He doesn't look like he's playing in the Euros in his first big international tournament, his first games for England, basically, and he's just fearless. He looks amazing out there. He's been one of our best players. Really, really impressive. So I hope he gets to play again against Ukraine, and like I just said, together with Grealish, because they play together. They complement each other well. And Italy. I think Italy were a bit underwhelming in their last game. They struggled a bit in their last game because, like you said, Daniel, the good point you made. They had a really good group. You know, Italy looked really good in their group games, and then all of a sudden in that last game, the first knockout round, they struggled. They did struggle to get through. So yeah.
Do you know the one thing I said about Italy, right? In the group stages, and for all that they did look decent, and they were, I said it on one of my watch-alongs. I said, you know what, Italy, if they're not careful, they're in danger of peaking too early. And I said it in the Austria game as well. Italy, Austria. I said that Italy looked like a team that they're decent. They've still got quality, but they look like a team that have peaked and they're now starting to burn out a little bit.
Yeah, that could be.
And you know, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to fit it into some narrative to suit England. I genuinely, we've seen it before with other teams in the tournament, you know, peaking too early and not respecting teams not respecting the opposition. You know, you look at France against Switzerland. You know what I mean? They completely balls that up. Take away the penalty shootout because, you know, it's a lottery penalties. But even in the 90 minutes and extra time, France should have had that sewn up. Do you know what I mean? They were 3-1 up.
I thought it was over. I really did.
Yeah, I did. I saw it. I was like, Switzerland ain't getting back into this. But fair play to them. Do you know what I mean? Fair play to Switzerland for coming back in to it. And obviously Mbappe, I feel missing that penalty. He didn't look confident.
He's had a terrible tournament. He's looked poor all tournament. Mbappe. He really has. He really has. I'm going to call him Mcrappe now. Mcrappe. That's my new nickname for him. And he looked quite bad. And I'll tell you what, the Swiss. We've got to be careful of them because they're also a team that they can have some luck running their way, and if they give 110%, you know, scoring a free kick, scoring a corner, they beat France, and France were one of the favourites. So, you know, you've got to give credit where it's due, and Switzerland had a fantastic comeback in that game, and they really did the business on France. So I don't think we can count out the Swiss. I think we have to be careful of them if we go through.
And Denmark as well. Denmark are another team.
Denmark are the team I'm looking at as could be our bogey team because they really do have the bit between their teeth now. They've got that extra motivation from Eriksen. They want to show everyone, you know, they want to play for him and make up for him. And that player who came in fantastically enough, that the player who actually came in and replaced Eriksen in the team, Damsgaard, his name is, he is really good. He's every bit as good as what Eriksen is. I was really impressed to see that guy. I haven't really seen much of him before, but he's skillful, slick, scores goals, sets up goals. He's every bit as good as what Eriksen is. So with Damsgaard in their team instead of Eriksen, they're not really missing much of a beat, even though, of course, they're missing the leadership and, of course, the experience of Eriksen. But yeah, they are a potential bogey team for us. They really are. And Switzerland aren't as bad as what, you know, people look at Switzerland. Oh, we should beat Switzerland. I don't think that's as straightforward as we think either. So the name of the game is we've got to give 110%. And we can't have that Arsenal attitude where we've seen so many games where we're playing a Barnsley or we're playing a Fulham or we're playing a Newcastle or whatever, and we sort of just show up to the game and think we're going to win it and just don't really give a fuck, and then we end up losing. You know, there's that horrible mentality. You think you've won it before you've actually started the game. That type of mentality is not good enough. You know, we can't do that.
Do you know that's the thing, Sam? Right? And everybody's criticizing Gareth Southgate and saying, "Oh, it's really poor, really negative." I feel like that, and I was guilty of it myself at one point. I feel like because we've been so badly scarred by Arsenal. I think we're trying to make comparisons because we're still. Listen, we've had a shit season, right? An absolute shit season, and even before that. And I feel like looking at England, you could, you know, if it's easy to see the comparisons when you're an Arsenal fan and you watch England and you watch Arsenal week in, week out. It's easy to see those comparisons. But the difference is that England and Southgate, and he seems to be breaking all the psychological barriers that have dogged England teams for years. You know, like with the penalty shootout,
exactly,
beating big teams in a knockout round. There's still going to be questions, Sam. There's still going to be questions until he wins that first bit of silverware.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Daniel. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to say you made a very valid point there. That winning that penalty shootout, that really did take us to a different level mentally, because the penalty shootout has always been our, you know, the monkey on our back. It's always been our bogey. We've always mentally just collapsed in the penalty shootout. But that last important penalty shootout we had there, we bossed it, and that, I think that could give us that confidence if it happens again. You know, we shouldn't be scared of it. Sorry to interrupt. I just had to. No,
that's fine. But yeah, honestly, I want to ask you this before we move on to Arsenal. How far do you think we can go in this tournament?
I am at the moment, the way I'm looking at the teams we have on our side of the draw, I think if we do what we're supposed to do, if we give 110% and we play Grealish and we play Saka, and Kane maybe showing a little bit of a glimpse of what he can do now, because he's been, let's face it, he's been nowhere to be seen for 3 games and 80 minutes basically, and then he showed up and did that little bit of brilliance, which is what we're all waiting for against Germany. Now, if he can, you know, maybe hopefully get on the end of a ball or two against the Ukraine, that would be great. But I do think we also need to play Saka and Grealish to get that attack dimension working well. And but yeah, I do think it's laid out for us to go to the final. I really do. And again, like you said, Daniel, I'm not just saying that as an England fan. I do think our team looks good enough. We look confident enough. I was and still am a little bit worried about Southgate, because I don't want him to all of a sudden make a weird selection or, you know, change of a player, or, you know, who is going to like change the dynamics of our team and make us play worse. I'm a bit worried about that. You know, I don't want that to happen. But if we can keep this, you know, team selection going and playing this way we've been playing, I do think we can get to the final. And I agree with you, Daniel. I think on the other side of the draw, I think Italy is the strongest team. I do think they play the best football together as a unit. They've got some great players. And I think Italy would be the team that we would most likely, at the moment, in my opinion, also meet in the final. I think that'll be a cracking final against Italy. And it's sort of laid out for us to get to that final. And if we could actually do it and win it, wow, I mean, that would be incredible. And like you say, that would really put any doubts about Southgate out of everybody's mind by then, because then he's actually proven something, right? Which is basically the first time ever since 1966, isn't it? I mean, we got close a couple of times, but you know, close doesn't win it, does it? So, you know, so it'd be fantastic if we did. But yeah, it's sort of laid out ready for us. And I do think we can get to the final. And then what happens in the final? You never know. A final's a final. Anything can happen. You get a red card, an injury or two. You know, anything can happen. It's a one-off game. Form really goes out the window because everyone's, you know, giving 110%. You know, hell for leather, and their team is good. Italy's good. They can match us man for man, definitely, with their team, in my opinion. So it'll be a tough final, and then that is, I don't think we're guaranteed to win that, but I do think we can get to the final, and if we meet Italy, I think it's up for grabs really. Then we could win it, we could lose it, but I think it'll be a really good game against Italy if we got there.
Yeah, and I think for me as well, I'm just taking it game by game.
Of course we do.
You know,
Of course we do,
I'm enjoying the ride that England, and I'm actually excited about where this England team can go. And I'm actually, this is why I always say to everybody that I'm not letting, and we're going to come on to Arsenal in a second, but I'm not letting Arsenal ruin my summer, because at the moment we are you know, we are England, and I find, and I'm feeling that sense of something could happen, and I feel like that even in the World Cup, I feel like the nation is gripped at the moment with this England team, like we've never been gripped with the England team before in a tournament, and I felt it in the World Cup in 2018, and I feel it again in this tournament. I feel like everybody's genuinely excited, because
I think we sense it, don't we? We can sense that there's that potential there, can't we?
Yeah, and I think it's not just blind hope. I feel like it's genuine. You know, this team is a good team that we've got. I feel like our time. You know, when you look at other teams, you know, like take Germany, for instance, we just beat them. Listen, a team in transition, you know, there are a lot of old players still leaving, a lot of players coming through. You know, they're a team in transition. When you look at us, we are a young team, but a team full of talent, you know, and when you look at the way that Southgate's got us playing, the balance, you can kind of see what he's trying to do. And you know, the one thing that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the 2018 World Cup, as soon as we went out of that, I saw an interview with Gareth. I can't remember where I saw it. It was on, I think I just YouTubed it or something, but he was talking about after the 2018 World Cup exit, he actually went and watched all the World Cup winning teams and the Euro winning teams. And one thing that came out of it was that England need to be more defensive, and we're not as defensive as the other teams, because obviously going deep into a tournament, you need to kind of manage the team in terms of, you don't want to peak too early. And maybe that's why we're seeing such a defensive shift in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you're so right that I think the balance looks a lot better now. I think the way we lined up against Germany, I was a bit worried that we were going to be too much on the back foot, and I was worried the first 10 minutes, because the first 10 minutes they came out of the gates really well, Germany, and they pushed us back a bit, pinned us back, had a couple of early chances, and I was a bit worried looking at the first 10 minutes. But then after the first 10 minutes, we just started taking over, and that balance in midfield with Rice and Phillips, it looked good. It really did. It worked well. But it didn't quite give us that real attacking dimension we needed, though. We did well. We kept Germany at bay. I think we played better than them, but we was just lacking that attacking dimension there. And when Grealish came on, that changed. It sort of gave us that more attacking edge, and that's when we created the better chances. And I just think we need to find a place for Grealish there, but keep either Phillips or Rice in there, because it gives us that balance that's nice in midfield to still have that defensive element there that's clearing up in midfield and picking up players, and it works well. And Southgate I think he's found a combination there that's working quite well. I must say, it really does. Yeah.
And before we move on to Arsenal, I got to ask you as well, because there's one player we've not really spoken about, and I want to talk. I'll touch a little bit on Jordan Pickford, because actually I thought against Germany he was outstanding, made some really good saves, and do you know what? Rightly, again, when he plays for Everton, do you know the thing is, when he plays for Everton, I see a vulnerability with Jordan Pickford, but when he plays for England, I kind of see the opposite. Do you know, I kind of see him strengthen and play really well as a goalkeeper. What do you think that's down to? Do you think it's just down to the players in front of him at Everton and the players in front of him at England, or do you think he just suits, the national team better than his club team?
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of the fact that he does have a more solid team in front of him for England than he does for Everton. And also, I just think I think it's something in his head, like some kind of unconscious sort of motivation, where when he plays for England, he's at 100%. He's just firing on all cylinders. Whereas with Everton, he'll have that glitch here and there. He'll be lacking concentration here and there. And you're right, for Everton, he's not brilliant, but for England, he's been solid. He really has. And I must admit, I was questioning why we were using him when we started this tournament, because I was saying, listen, Pickford hasn't been great for Everton. Why are we sticking with him? But I got to give credit where it's due. Southgate, obviously, he's with the players together with the coaching staff. They will have a lot better knowledge of what the players can do than we do, of course, looking from afar. And obviously he's seen the same thing that you're talking about, that he sees that, Pickford, when he plays for England, he is just giving it all and doing really well. And that's why he keeps picking him. And he's justified being that number one for England. He really has. And like you said, against Germany, had a fantastic game. He's had a couple of other really good saves as well in earlier games this tournament so far as well. And he just really steps up his game for England. He really does. And he's a top goalkeeper playing for England at the moment. So, yeah, it's great to have that. And certainly is an interesting fact you bring up there, that he is different for England compared to Everton, definitely. And there are other players who have been like that for different nations as well. For their club team, they're good. They're not brilliant. But then when they play at club level, international level, they're absolutely fantastic, One that springs to mind for me is Torreira. Torreira was absolutely fantastic for his national team, looked brilliant. And then he comes to Arsenal. And of course, I know a lot of it's down to probably, he doesn't really like England that much. The climate is difficult to fit in to a new country. And then, of course, Arteta, first Emery was using him the wrong way. And then Arteta didn't really get the best. So he's never really managed to do well for us. But he looked fantastic for his national team, And there are other players like that who just step up and play better because of that. There's several factors involved there. Some of it's motivation. Some of it's, you're playing with better players or different players around you. It clicks a lot better. It's just the way it is. Some players you're going to work well with and play well with and have that cohesion and that understanding. And with other players, you don't. You can see that when players transfer from one club to another, they either improve or they don't. And a lot of it's down to who they're playing with. So, yeah, it's an interesting point. And I think Pickford's done really, really well. And, I think he deserves his spot. And I think he's going to be very important for us going into the next rounds as well, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. Listen, let's move on to Arsenal. Obviously, the transfer window is open, and we've been linked with a few players. Listen, I want to start with the big one, but the big surprised one, and that could potentially happen, and that is Ben White for 50 million.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Sam? Because I look at it, right, and I just don't know. Like I'm sure he's a decent player, but not for 50 million. And I look at that price tag, and I look at it. If we can spend 50 million on Ben White, why can't we spend 40 million on Basuma? And it just baffles me. What do you make of that?
I just want to quickly before we go into that, I just want to answer Steve Biscuit's question he asked me a bit earlier about Kane, what to do with him. Just very, very quickly. For me, I'd keep playing Kane because you get what you saw against Germany. That's what you get from Kane. Even though he's been a ghost, he will put away a chance when he gets it. He just needs to get that chance. And for me, I don't think the alternatives are good enough. I don't think we have good enough alternatives as a striker that will do that, in my opinion. I agree Kane hasn't been very good, but all of a sudden he steps up and he does what he did against Germany. So that's what Kane brings you, and that's why I wouldn't drop him. Yes, I just want to quickly answer that and big up everyone in the chat. Nice to see you guys. Gunnar Vettler here. He's rooting for Denmark, of course, because he's a fellow Norwegian. So he's rooting for Denmark. We've got some Scots in here as well. They don't want England to win, of course. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Ben White, interesting question, Daniel. For me, I think, first of all, I think £50 million is that's the going price for a good English central defender, right? A ball playing central defender who's quite decent, has a decent reputation, and being English and young with potential still to develop. I think 50 million. That seems to be the going price when you look at what other defenders are sold for. So for me, the price isn't really an issue. What is an issue with Ben White for me is I just don't think. I'm not going to say we don't need him, because definitely if you look at some of our players we have, he is as good or not better than, like, for example, the likes of Chambers, Holding. You could probably even argue Marie. I would maybe say Gabriel, in my opinion. Gabriel at his best, when he's in form, fully fit, playing well. I think Gabriel is really good. I think maybe Gabriel might be even better than Ben White. But when you look at our other alternatives playing there in the middle, I would probably say Ben White is better than them. But I still think the likes of Pablo Mari and Chambers, and I think, playing with Gabriel there, I think we're good enough there at the moment. That's not the first area we need to strengthen. We need to strengthen other areas first. Like you said, central midfield, a partner for Partey, someone who can tackle the ball, clear up in midfield and still move forward. Break ranks. Take the ball forward, drive the ball forward. That is someone we need in midfield, especially now when it looks like Xhaka is out, on his way out the door to most likely Roma. So for me, it's a central midfield. We need that backup left back, which it looks like we've signed now with Tavares. We need we definitely need more in terms of. We need a right back, of course. The right back is still a position that it looks like we're going to be needing if Bellerin actually goes, even though it doesn't look like there's been much movement there. But sorry, I went on a bit there. But yeah, for Ben White, for me, I would say yes, if that is if we're going to buy him, okay, I can see, yes, he will improve our defense. But for me, that's not what we need at the moment. That's not the area that needs priority. I don't know what you think. Do you think that's an area that needs priority?
Before I come on to my thoughts, Cheddar says Ben White's not a solid defender, but he's great on the ball.
I think he's pretty decent. He's not top, but he's decent.
We have to take into account the team he's been playing in as well. He might be better with better players around him, but for me, the reason why I'm a little bit skeptical of this deal is and this is nothing against Ben White, absolutely nothing against him at all, because I'm sure he'll be a decent player and I'm sure he'll come in and do a good job. He's highly rated, and there's two things. I'm not sure on the price tag, 50 million. I'm sort of a bit like you, Sam. I'm not sure why are we going to spend that money on a player we don't need. Yeah. And we don't necessarily need him.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But yet we can't spend 40 million on Basuma. And the other thing is, what's going to happen to Saliba? Because I'm getting a little bit kind of...
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm looking at this situation. I'm thinking, okay, you've got a defender there in Saliba who could come in. We spent a lot of money on him, 27 million. And he's not even kicked a ball for Arsenal in a competitive game.
Yeah, it's very strange.
And I just look at this situation, and bring in Ben White. If I was Saliba, I'd be going, hang on a second, you're bringing in Ben White, and I've seen a lot of people say, oh, he could be used as a right back or as a because he can play there as well. But I don't know. I look at it and think, what's going to happen with Saliba. And
Hmm.
I'd rather see Saliba be given a chance than bring in another defender, because I want to see what he can do.
Exactly.
He's an unknown entity in this Arsenal team right now, and I want to see what he can do. But he's got to be given a chance, and I just, this is where it just baffles me with Arteta and our transfer policy, because I want to see him given a chance. If he's not given a chance, then I want the club and Arteta to come out and explain why he's not given. Because just saying he's not ready is not a valid.
It's not good enough anymore
for me. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not good enough, because he's had a whole season in France where apparently he played quite well. And if you're playing a whole season in France, you're good enough to at least be given a chance, in my opinion. No, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to come in and be a world beater and he's going to be Virgil van Dijk straight away. I don't think anyone expects that. But I think if you've had a decent season in France, you deserve a chance, at least a chance. And like you say, the price tag, buying him for 27 million as well, that young, he's supposed to be this huge talent. I mean, if he doesn't even get to play for us and we transfer him out, I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. That is bordering on insanity. It just makes no sense. And like you say, if that happens, I really want Edu or Arteta or both of them to come out and say exactly, specifically why he can't play for Arsenal. And I agree with you completely, Daniel. I would like to see him given a chance to see what he can do ahead of bringing in someone like Ben White. Ben White is not a priority for us now. I agree completely.
And Steve, the Arsenal Misfit, says Saliba's done. He's not an Arteta guy. That's 25 million wasted. But the thing is, though, Steve, the only thing I would say to that is, how do we know he's not an Arteta guy? Because he's not been given a chance. If he was given a chance and he's massively underperformed, then I'll probably agree with you. But I would just, how do we know? How does even Arteta know he's not an Arteta guy if he's not even been given a chance? That's the thing. That's why it's so confusing. I can understand it if he'd played, he played and we'd seen it, but he's not been given a chance, and he needs to be given that chance.
Yeah, right. You're so right. And what it was, what I think a little bit of it has been is when he was first bought by us, I think he was a little bit raw and not quite ready at that time. I agree with that. But we messed up that whole thing, though, where he didn't get to play the French Cup final, which would have been a great experience for him. And then we messed up dithering around. We had him for a few months, basically doing nothing before we before we loaned him out. And we just mishandled so much with him. But when he first came, I do think maybe he wasn't quite ready to come into the Premier League right then and there. And I think Arteta and the coaching staff have probably seen this in training and in some of those pre-season games, a couple of them, and he's played a few, behind closed. He's played a few behind closed doors friendlies as well. And under 23 games, and apparently, he hasn't been that impressive from what I've been reading about it, and that is one of the reasons why he was loaned out then to the French team instead of being in our squad, because they wanted him to get regular first team football at a decent level to try and improve and develop, and apparently, from everything I've read and talking to people who follow Ligue 1, certainly a lot more than what I do. I mean, I might watch an odd PSG game here and there or something like that, but that's about it. They say he had a decent season. He actually had some good games, and he looked quite decent. So if you're at that level in the French Ligue 1, then for me, you deserve at least a chance, at least a look in, at least give him, a few games to see what he can do. And like you said, Dan, if he underwhelms, if he looks really bad, okay, then at least we know, right? Because at the moment, I think what's driving everyone crazy, and I completely agree, is we just don't know. We don't know what he's like for Arsenal because so far he hasn't been given a chance. So for God's sake, at least let us have a look at him and see what he's like, and then we can make a judgment from that, can't we?
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I just, I don't know. It's a strange situation. It's a strange situation, and not only do we need clarity, but Saliba needs clarity as well. To be fair,
Yeah.
I want to ask you about some of the others.
Yep.
Some of the other rumors. So, I know it's kind of gone a bit quiet, but there was tentative reports that we could try and get James Maddison.
Oh God, all the rumors. Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, and I when I saw those rumors, for me personally, I was like, it ain't gonna happen. Like Arsenal ain't gonna spend that amount of money on Maddison. He's gonna be about 60, 70 million. Mind you, saying that they're spending 50 million on Ben White. So it's anything's, but do you know what? It's trying to second guess what's going on at Arsenal right now. He's trying to read the mind of a female. It's just
impossible.
It's just
impossible.
It is impossible. But yeah, James Maddison, would you take him at Arsenal?
No, I wouldn't. I think he's a bit overrated in my opinion. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's not at that level. Everyone keeps wowing and ahhing about him. No, for me, Grealish is better. I actually think Smith Rowe is every bit as good as him. Well, at least potentially within the next season or two, I would say. And I would rather keep hold of Smith Rowe and give him a chance and then bring in a Maddison and we're bringing someone else, probably an attacking midfielder or that type of player I can see coming in, but it's not going to be James Maddison. It's going to be someone probably from abroad somewhere, most likely talent or someone quite decent, not top level most likely, but yeah, Maddison's just smoke and mirrors really. Definitely. What I am interested about though is this. I mean, it's actually been reported from several sources, and there's actually a direct quote from the Sassuolo chairman that Arsenal have actually bid for Locatelli.
Yeah, I was coming on to that. Mr. Bungle in the chat says every time now and then a legend passes through the chat. Joker.
Yeah, Bungle he's a laugh. It's nice to see you, Bungle. Hope you're doing well. I see Omar as negative as always. Nice to see you, Omar. Long time no see, mate. But my God, you're negative. Honestly, bloody, I wouldn't bring you along to a party. I tell you that, mate. That would just kill the party straight away. That would.
Yeah, no worries, James. Thanks for popping in, mate. I know you. Thanks for popping in. He said he's got to go, but
bye,
thanks
James.
for popping in.
Nice to see you. Good luck with Rafa Benitez. I think they've done a decent move there, to be honest. Not that we're going to talk about that, but I think they've done a decent move there with Rafa Benitez. He's a good manager.
I think Benitez will get the best out of those players, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'll just see Gary come in the chat there about Locatelli, smoke and mirrors. I don't agree, Gary, because the chairman of Sassuolo wouldn't come out. He's either the chairman or the director of football, one of the two, came out actually direct quote in the Italian media saying that Arsenal have bid for him. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't lie. A chairman or a football director wouldn't lie like that. It's not just like making up a rumor like a journalist would do. This is coming from a top official at the club. So I would say maybe we because it was rumored a little while ago that we were after him, and everyone's like, oh, that's just rubbish. But maybe there's something in that. But for me, I don't think we're going to get Locatelli because I think he wants to go to Juventus. I think
Juventus, yeah,
they're in for him, and he's most likely, being Italian and all of that. He's most likely going to go to Juventus. I don't think he wants to come to Arsenal, to be honest.
I think the only way we'd get Locatelli is if Juventus turn their attention to other options, other players. And they were obviously in the hunt for Granit Xhaka as well, weren't they? Whether there was any truth to that.
Oh, God knows,
Yeah, listen, it looks like Granit Xhaka's on his way out, which is for me.
Roma, yeah.
For me, it's a good. I think it's about time we started moving.
Well, the thing is, everyone's on about his performances for Switzerland now, right? And this is exactly what we was talking about with Pickford, right? Xhaka is one of these players. He steps it up when he plays for Switzerland. He's the captain of Switzerland. He's a major profile, big profile, a big deal in Switzerland. He loves the national team. When he plays for Switzerland, he puts the armband on for Switzerland. He's a different player. When you add to that the fact that he knows he wants to move on from Arsenal, he wants to go somewhere else, which he actually wanted to 2 seasons ago, but Arteta persuaded him to stay. But we could have sold him back then for 35 to 40 million to a German club. But anyway, so Xhaka, up in his game for the national team, and on top of that, knowing he wants to move on, he's in the shop window, shall we say? He's going to be giving even more. So he's playing really well because of that. If he came back to Arsenal in August and he started playing for us in the league in August, we would see the same old Xhaka. Yes, I agree he improved towards the end of the season. Yes, he had some good games. He was an important player for us. Yes. But when you look at the level of how we were playing, how crap we were all that season, that's not really saying that much, to be honest. And we all know for several seasons what Xhaka doesn't give us. And that is what we need, right? We've seen for so many seasons now, he's just not the right fit for us. We need to move on and bring in someone who's more dynamic, better than Xhaka. That's what we have to do. We just have to, if we want to get into the Champions League, we have to move on from Xhaka. That's just what we have to do. And yeah, hopefully we can finally get rid of him to Roma. Mourinho's very keen on him apparently. And so hopefully we get rid of him, because I really don't want to see Xhaka starting for us again next season. I don't know if I could take it. I'll probably start. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what the hell I'll do. I've had so much of Xhaka. I've had him up to here. If he starts for us again next season, I'll just go mental. I'll probably just start. I don't know. I'll probably get psychosis or something like that.
Yeah, you and me both, mate. I just don't think. I agree with you. I don't think Xhaka is what we need if we have aspirations of getting into that top 4 next season. Then I just don't think he's what we need personally. With the signings that we're looking to make, I don't even think we're going to get top 4 even next season.
Nah, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. We're going to be too much in. I mean, if we do the type of business we hope we're going to do and we should be doing, we're going to be in too much of a transition. When you're changing that many players, the squad is changing that much. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen next season. Maybe the season after we'll start really improving. But I think this first season now, hopefully it'll be better than 8th place and the first half of the season down battling for relegation. I certainly hope it's going to be better than that, and it should be. But I just think when you're in that much of a transition, you're changing that much of the squad, you're not going to have a fantastic season. There's too much, there's too much needed there that, you need to gel and, learn to play together. Too many people in different positions who are new. It's going to be, it's going to take a little bit of time till we really get into it. But hopefully with the right players, we will. And then the season after next is hopefully then when we can really push on. Hopefully we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Do you know the thing is though, Sam, right? Yeah. And I'm going to be brutally honest. And I love Arsenal to bits. Do you know what I mean? But for the first time in a long time, and even all the crap that we've been through as Arsenal fans, under Arsene Wenger, this is the first season where I'm actually dreading the start of the season. I'm actually, do you know what? I would actually rather have another month of the Euros than the start of Arsenal's season. And that's how bad things have got at Arsenal. Like, well, people are going, they want their Arsenal back. They can't wait for Arsenal to come back, go back to games and stuff. I'm just sitting there thinking, do you know what? I couldn't care less right now. Like, honestly, when the season starts, it'll be different because obviously I'll be there. But at this current time and moment, I'm sat there thinking, I'm enjoying the summer. I'm not letting Arsenal ruin my summer. I'm not letting Arsenal kind of depress me, because at the moment that's what it is. Depressing.
You're right. No, you're so right. And to me, I always have this sort of let's say, naive hope. There's always a little bit of hope with a new season. Some new players. That it's going to be better and things are going to look better, and there's always that hope for me because I'm just used to it. I'm a bit of a sucker like that. But now I must say the hope is very, very little. It's nowhere near what it has been in other seasons past. So for me, I'm still, of course, I'm looking forward to a new season because I enjoy, watching. I'm not saying Arsenal is fantastic to watch, but I do enjoy the Premier League football and the whole spectacle of the Premier League and the excitement of everything going on. But yeah, in terms of Arsenal, I'm not that excited as I have previously been. You're right; it's taking all that excitement and all the excitement and then sort of that enthusiasm. It's sort of gone away, hasn't it, with what's been going on in recent seasons? So it's difficult to get geared up for it, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully we'll make some decent transfers that will improve us. It'll be very interesting to see what players we actually end up buying. That's going to be so fascinating to see what the actual proof in the pudding is, shall we say, with actually who we end up with in the squad.
Yeah, I just I don't know. Like I can't see us signing anybody that would get us back up there. Like I might be wrong, and the next month might be.
Well, let's put it this way, Daniel. For me, and I know this is just probably fantasy talk, right? I'm just putting it out there just for the fun of it, just for shits and giggles, right? If we bought Jack Grealish, Locatelli, and Ben White, and a decent right back, some half decent right back, I think we could have with the players we've already got, and some. Yeah, so maybe another midfielder on top of that as well. Not at that necessarily that level, but a decent midfielder as well on top of that. I think with the squad we got, I think we could really push on, do something really good with that. But that's never going to happen. They're the players we've been. Some of them we've been linked with, and some of the players we should be going for. But we're most likely going to end up with something completely different, aren't we? And what do you make of? I wanted to ask you, what do you make of this Lokonga? Apparently, Lokonga and Tavares. They're both done deals apparently now. They're just waiting for the medicals and the last formalities have to be done. With bits and bobs. They'll probably be announced after the Euros before the pre-season. But like Lokonga, I know he's an Anderlecht player, and they say he's quite talented and everything. And Anderlecht, they are a talent factory. Look at all the players who've come through Anderlecht through the years. They've got some amazing players that come through their system. But what do you make of this Lokonga? Do you have any opinion about him?
I think he's going to be one for the future.
Yeah,
I see him as one for the future. To be honest, I can't really give an opinion on him because I've not seen him play.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I've not really. I don't really know enough about him. Even the same with the Benfica, the guy from Benfica. I can't really give an opinion because I don't really know a lot about him.
No, they say he's
all I know is we do need a backup left back, and obviously we know Tierney's going to be the number one, and obviously
but he's going to miss a few games, isn't he? Definitely.
The fact that him signing a contract, Tierney is probably the only positive. Probably the only positive bit. It's probably the only positive bit of Arsenal news this summer.
It's fantastic, and I hope he becomes our captain. Yeah.
To be honest, Sam, I'm just not excited by any of these deals.
No, not at the moment. They're not known.
I'm just not excited. Like, if they went and brought Basuma, I might be a little bit interested. But okay, this is exactly what we need. But they're spending money on the wrong players again, and it's just deja vu, Sam. It's just,
got to see it first.
When I read these transfer rumors, I just want to go and smash my head against a brick wall and go, "We've been here 10 times before."
Yeah, I know what you mean,
we're just.
I think we need to give them a chance though before we make our mind up, don't you? You know,
Yeah,
there could be gems. You know, that's what we're talking about. You know, we're always on about, you know, the likes of other teams like Wolves and you know, likes of Everton and Wolves and Aston Villa and all these other players and West Ham. You know, finding these players we have never heard of, and they turn out to be pretty bloody good. You know, these little gems you've never heard of. You know, maybe we'll be lucky and get something like that. Probably not, most likely not. But that's what I'm sort of halfway hoping anyway.
Yeah,
Big up everyone in the chat. I just want to see say Taib's here. Massimo Taibi, as I call him. I'm doing well, mate. Gary's just left. Have a good
Gary
one, Gary.
as well. Yeah, thanks, Gary, for coming on.
Bungle's definitely been released from some kind of mental institution, but we're happy to have him. Happy to have him, that's for sure.
Jesus
all the other legends.
Yeah, big up to everybody in the chat. It's been nice. It's been a good chat room this evening. It's been a good chat room. But yeah, do you think, Sam, as well, that there's going to be a surprise signing for Arsenal coming out this? You know, Do you think there's going to be a big name surprise signing that they're going to?
I think there is something up the sleeve of Edu and the team, because I think with what happened at the tail end of last season with all that Europa League stuff not Europa League, Super League, European Super League stuff and all that ownership rubbish and the Kroenke protests and the Kroenkes, you know, knowing that they're not really popular at the moment. I have a feeling they might want to make a statement. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that and say, "Oh no, look at their history." And yes, it's right. Their history has been terrible. They haven't really done. We have been given a lot of money. There is no disputing in that. We have actually been given a lot of money. We've just spent it and used it really poorly. That's unfortunately what we've done. But I do think we will. I think try and do a marquee signing this summer to sort of, you know, get the fans a bit more excited again and try and at least show that they're trying to be serious about it. I have a feeling something like that's going to happen. I do. I don't know who it will be. Sometimes we don't know who it will be. It comes out of the blue sometimes. But yeah, I do have a feeling we could see that, and I hope we do, because it's always nice to have a marquee signing. You know, some well-known player. It's always a nice feeling and fun to have, you know, to have someone like that in the team, isn't there? You know, a well-known player. So it should all, if it, you know, unless it's some, you know, someone who we don't really need or want or anything like that, it should boost us anyway. That's what I hope. But yes, be interesting to see how this transfer window pans out, because we need to KSC, the Kroenkes, they need to show us something that they at least halfway give a shit after everything that's been going on.
Do you know what worries me?
Though, that's the thing, you know.
Do you know what worries me, Sam? Right, yeah, and I can see it already with the way that they're doing, the way the rumors are circulating. Is I think that KSC think that we want big money signings, and I think what they've done is they've gone and picked a bunch of players like a Ben White, and you know, we were linked at one point with paying that Swedish guy's 59 million release clause, and I think they've just gone and picked those players with big release clauses and gone, okay, this will appease the Arsenal fans, 50 for Ben White, because we've always said years down the line, they don't spend money, they don't spend enough money, and I think they've just gone, not really put any thought into it. They've just gone and picked players with the big money signings, but not necessarily the right players. That's my only worry.
I think a lot of it is also made up from the media. I think a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors from the media. I think we do have our targets that we want for each position, and it's sort of which of the targets we end up getting, or if we get all of the targets. I mean, Lokonga and Tavares, I think they're, like you're saying, they're not meant to jump straight into the first team. They're meant to sort of, I think Lokonga is like a bit of a talent who might come in and do well, like a bit of a Guendouzi type of, you know, that type of player who could maybe come in and potentially do well. Tavares is a decent backup, a decent level backup for Tierney. yeah, we still need to bring in some proper players who are going to come straight into the first team. The starting lineup and bolster our starting lineup. That's what we need. That needs to be the next transfers now. Need to be proper transfers. I do think a lot of the links we see are smoke and mirrors are just rubbish. I don't think we're linked to. I mean, I don't think we're going for half the players or even that, probably even a third of the players we're linked to at the moment. I think a lot of it's just crap, but it'd be interesting to see exactly who we end up with, because it's always fascinating to see who they actually think is the player that we should be having, who's going to fit into Arteta's system, because hopefully that is what's happening. Is Arteta is pointing out that the players he wants, saying this is the guy I think is going to fit my system. I want him, and hopefully they're the players we're going to be going for. We're going to fit what Arteta wants to do, because anything else than that would just be stupid. And I just really hope that's not what's happening. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely, and I guess the big moves are going to happen after the Euros.
Always.
Yeah, so I'm guessing
towards the end of the window as well. Always, it's always that last few days of the window. Stuff's going to happen there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess sort of July going into August is going to be a massive month for transfers.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to answer Omar. He's been asking me why I think he's so negative. Well, you started off by saying Aubameyang's only going to have 5 decent games this season, and I know you've been saying for a long time he's not going to be staying. He's crap and all of that. He's past it. I agree with you that he's not great, but you are negative about him. And then you're negative about Saliba, saying he's gone. He's not going to be a part of Arsenal. He's gone. We're just going to forget him. I would like to hope that he gets a chance now pre-season to show something and maybe be part of our squad for next season. That's why you're negative. You think he's not going to be a part of the club, and then you've been negative before, haven't you, Omar? You're always sort of you're the glass is half empty kind of guy, aren't you? You say, oh, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We're rubbish. We're going to lose this game. We're going to lose that game. I mean, that's just the way you are, Omar. We love you for it. That's just what you are. We've got to have our negative Nancy's. That's the way it is.
The thing is, though, as well, and I will say this: Arsenal have made a pretty good job of.
They make us negative. Yeah, they definitely make us negative. That is true. Oh yeah, there's a lot of reasons to be negative. That is sure, for sure, definitely, absolutely. Like I was saying, this season's been traumatic, and we're not really looking forward to the season, really, in all honesty, are we? Unless we all of a sudden make some amazing signings.
Do you know, the only thing I'm looking forward to about this season is going back to the stadium.
Yeah, of course you get that experience, because that is a whole thing, isn't it? That whole match day. I know I've been to the Emirates a few times, and it really is. You don't really care about the match when you're there. I mean, of course you do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, the match and the performance and the result is important, but when you're actually at the ground with all the atmosphere and everything that's going on, that whole experience, that is a huge part of it. It's that experience and the camaraderie people have. Seeing the same people every game and all that social part of it, and that supporting part of it. That of course that's what's bringing people back to the Emirates every week, isn't it? Of course, that's a big part of it, and I bet you're looking forward to that. I bet you're looking forward to getting back to the Emirates, watching the Arsenal games, cheering them on, speaking to the people you normally do, and getting back to that social, life again that's been missing for well over a year now. I feel like that's worth being excited about, isn't it? Really,
and it's going to be nice as well, because now I've got my. You think when I started my YouTube channel, we were just sort of I was off to Australia, and then when I come back from Australia, we went into all this pandemic stuff. Yeah. So it's going to be nice going there and being able to do content, like vlogs and stuff, and different kind of content that people will see and that people will like, and I think a lot more people will come to my channel when they see the stuff that I go through on a match day experience, and
Exactly. I think when you start vlogging from match day experiences and things like that, it's going to be a new thing, and I think people are going to be interested to see what it's like, and it's a new dimension, isn't it? To your channel, and I think it'd be interesting. I think a lot of people are interested, like you say, you had a lot of interest with the game you went to the end of last season.
Yeah, that got lots.
Yeah.
Considering there wasn't any, it was a dead game, but it got really good views, like loads of, the views on that was fantastic. That vlog, the views was brilliant. It was really good.
Yeah.
But people like that, don't they? People like vlogs and stuff, and
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it really is.
I enjoy them, and but yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I just thought I'll just put it out there. What I've been talking to you about that I think is really interesting, because what Daniel goes through, his match day experience, of course, is different from everyone else's, and I think it'd be really interesting to see that experience Daniel has. There as part of the disabled, Gooners supporting and everything, and I think it's really, really nice to see. That perspective of things, and Daniel as a guide dog, and what happens with the dog while you're there. And I remember you talking to me about when you go to away games that the way the setup is for disabled access at some of the away grounds is terrible, and what the dog has to go through is not quite as good as what it is as Emirates and other grounds. The dog has to be put in some weird places and stuff, and I just think it's good and interesting for people to see what that experience is, because I think a lot of people have no idea what it is, and you get a lovely position there to see the game, and to experience the game, and it's great, everything that the Emirates puts on for everything there is fantastic, and I think people will be interested in seeing what that is like, and following that.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to doing them. I'm looking forward to, and actually, I've been looking at trying to get better equipment so that when I can do it, it's a lot easier to do in terms of like the mics and the cameras and get the body mics and stuff. So I've been looking at getting some new equipment to do them. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be
really good.
But yeah, listen, what I think we'll do is we'll wrap up there. But Sam, I want to thank you for coming on again. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks, thank you so much. It's been a long time, and it's been really good. Been a great chat, and always nice to be on your channel. Always nice to see you and chat with you. It's always good fun. Always a nice discussion with some interesting points. And I just want to say thanks to the chat as well, all the regulars there, fantastic. Bungle, the absolute lunatic, is a great guy, and we've got Taib and Arsenal Manic and Omar. We love all these guys in the chat. Steve, the Arsenal Misfit, King Tony, Arsenal Manic. Yeah, they're all there, all the legends. So we love having them there in the chat. The chat's always good fun. Always discussing different things. It's always good, great stuff. Matt Roberts is here as well. Nice to see him. So yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. I just want to say thanks to everyone for taking part, and thanks for having me, Daniel. It's been great fun.
Yeah. Listen, it's been great. Listen, guys, do smash the like button on your way out. I'd really appreciate that, and do subscribe if you are new. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow with a watch along. I'm not entirely sure what game I'm going to do yet. I haven't decided. But I'm going to put it in the community tab tomorrow daytime. I'm going to be back tomorrow with a watch along of one of the Euros. Who is it? I think it's Spain, Switzerland, and I can't remember the other game.
Tomorrow we've got a couple of big games. We've got Italy, Belgium tomorrow.
Italy, Belgium. Yeah. Do you know what? I might do that one. I might do the Italy, Belgium. Yeah, I think I might do Italy, Belgium. So yeah, guys, I'll be back with Italy, Belgium. I think I will do that one. That's going to be a mad game. So yeah, do smash the like button, do subscribe, and listen. Until then, I will catch you all tomorrow. Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
See you later, guys.